and brutal unalives are on the rise. It's so sad. It just seems like since the COVID has ended, we have been hearing about people being brutally unalived left and right. Well, this one is another sad, tragic story that I have to talk about. There's so many tragedies happening within our young population, but in Idaho, I don't know if you guys have heard about this story, but in Idaho, 4 college students were brutally, literally slaughtered to death. I mean, they were stabbed up, I mean, while they were sleeping at 2 or 3 in the morning. And this massacre was so brutal that their blood leaked from outside the different crevices of the house. So you could see the blood leaking from the outside. Let's get into this tragic story. Before we get into it, let's just hear a summary about it now. This is an ad before we get to it. Let's get this ad. Skip the ad. Can we get the sound?
This house. Authorities are calling it There are plenty of questions and very few answers after 4 students at the University of Idaho were found murdered in their off-campus house. Authorities are calling it a crime of passion. Here's Stephen Fabian.
It's the chilling last photo of 4 University of Idaho students taken just hours before they were found murdered. They were identified as freshman Ethan Chapin, his girlfriend Zana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. It's being called a crime of passion. The killer or killers used an edged weapon such as a knife, police just revealed. I spoke with Kaylee Gonzalez's sister, Olivia, who described the last night of the students' lives.
My sisters did everything right. They went out in the buddy system. They went out together. They Ubered out. They stopped and got food. They Ubered home. They let their...
Here, let me do this video over, guys, because for some reason... gosh, I hate technology sometimes. I'm going to do the video over because for some reason, I'm not liking the screen like this. I think it might be an update. I'm going to play it one more time, guys.
There are plenty of questions and very few answers after 4 students at the University of Idaho were found murdered in their off-campus house. Authorities are calling it a crime of passion. Here's Stephen Fabian.
It's the chilling last photo of 4 University of Idaho students taken just hours before they were found murdered. They were identified as freshman Ethan Chapin, his girlfriend Zana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. It's being called a crime of passion. The killer or killers used an edged weapon such as a knife, police just revealed. I spoke with Kaylee Gonzalez's sister, Olivia, who described the last night of the students' lives.
My sisters did everything right. They went out in the buddy system. They went out together. They Ubered out. They stopped and got food. They Ubered home. They let their dog out to go potty. And then they locked their house up. They did everything right. And this still happened. Only when
Oh, gosh.
Social media videos show Kaylee as a fun-loving, vibrant young lady enjoying campus life with her sorority sisters inside the 6-bedroom off-campus house where the murders took place. They were murdered between 3 and 4 a.m. Sunday, and their bodies were found later that morning. The medical examiner has reportedly ruled out a murder-suicide, but even with a killer still out there on the loose, authorities say there's no risk to the other students on campus, and that's all adding to the mystery of these tragic deaths. Many of the university's 12,000 students are scared and leaving the Thanksgiving break. The family of Kaylee Gonzalez pleaded with statement. We urge you to refrain from spreading harmful rumors that aren't based in actuality. Misinformation is unfair to everyone involved.
we're mad. We're really mad. We know that there is someone who is responsible for this. We know that there's someone who saw something, and no one's talking. We're not getting any answers, and we're not going to settle for that.
So I wanted to open with that first to give you guys an overview of this tragedy before we get into the details. You guys, this story is horrific. Now, the sad part about this story is that the Idaho University was already put on alert. Before this massacre happened, there was a report of a man with a knife. They described his appearance on the different areas in the area with a knife. And it doesn't appear as though anybody did anything about it. There is reports that they think this was a targeted hit because there were a total of 6 girls in this residence and one guy who was with one of the girls. And the person who took these brutally murdered these 4 people only murdered those 4 and left the other 2 roommates alive. There can be possible theories to this. Number one, they were targeted. Or the other theory could be they just didn't know the other 2 girls were in the house. Maybe they didn't know. This is giving me weird, eerie vibes of Ted Bundy because Ted Bundy did a similar type of massacre like this decades ago. He went to a university's, because these girls are fraternity girls. He went to a fraternity house in college and he went through a brutal massacre of multiple girls in the fraternity house and just beat them literally to a pulp. So it makes me think of Ted Bundy. So I don't know that the scary part about this story is we don't know if it's targeted or if this person is a serial killer. So let's get into the story. It's so sad. It's so tragic because these beautiful young ladies and young man, the boy didn't even live there. He was just there with his girlfriend. So that's the sad part about it. Wrong place, wrong time. So 4 University of Idaho students are seen. And the thing is, you know, that photo I just showed you, that was a photo they did a couple hours before they were murdered. So 4 university students of Idaho are seen smiling in a photograph hours before they were killed in off-campus housing as police investigate their deaths as a homicide and all classes were canceled, guys. People on the campus are terrified. They don't even want to go back to school. The sad part about this story is, you know how a lot of these crime stories, we always can have a takeaway? Like we're always like, okay, we can learn this lesson from this story. Well, this story, it's really hard to figure out what lesson can we learn from it because these kids did everything right. They locked their door. They got in the house within reasonable time. They, you know, they took all safety precautions and they still were brutally murdered. So it's like, what else can you do? Like, what else? So the 4 university students who were found dead in off-campus housing Sunday afternoon have been identified. They are 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, 20-year-old Exana Kerdodal, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves. I cannot say her last name, guys. Goncalves. It remains unclear how they died. But the coroner already confirmed this, guys. I don't know if this is an older article. It is, but the coroner came out and said that they died of stab wounds. They were brutally stabbed to death, guys. Man, that's a horrible way to go out, to be brutally stabbed to death. And the knife they used is said to be one of those big knives from like the Robo. I don't know what that movie's called, Robo movie or whatever it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys. The 4 University of Idaho students who were found dead have been identified. We already went over that. The university officials say Chapman of Conway, Washington was a freshman at the school. That's sad, guys. He just got to college, man. He was just in his first year. Dang. And his parents were just, you know, bragging about how they loved their son. They were so proud of him and how, he's going to college and he grew up to be such a wonderful young man. And to send your kid off to school and then realize he's brutally murdered, that is just horrible, right? So he was studying recreation, sports, and tourism management, and Kernodle of Avondale, Arizona, was a junior majoring in marketing. Wow, so we had a junior who was murdered. Dang, we had a variation of ages of these people. And it's like, why these 4 people? There's like 8 people in the house and they killed, wait, 4. There's 6 people in the house and they kill 4 of them. That's just weird too. And the other 2 roommates didn't even hear the murder going on. Isn't that weird? She was a member of Phi Beta Phi sorority. You got to be careful about those sororities, guys, because when you're in those sororities or sorority girls, they could be targets of weirdos, perverts, all kinds of weird things, or some girls who want to seek revenge because maybe they were hazed when they were pledging to be in the sorority. There's all kinds of different theories that could be floating out there about this tragedy. The 2 seem to be dating according to their social medias. So the boy, Ethan, was dating this girl. Oh my goodness, would this stop? Okay. Ethan was dating, what is her name? Oh, and she's older than him, Cadodal. She was a junior and he's a freshman. The two seem to be dating according to their social media profiles. Mogan, meanwhile, was a senior, also majoring in marketing, who also was a member of Phi Beta sorority. So they're all in a sorority girls. And Congalves of Rathdrum, Idaho, was a senior majoring in general studies in College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. She was a member of Alpha Phi sorority. Just hours before her death, Goncalves posted pictures with her, Mogan, Kerdodal, their names, guys, forgive me for not pronouncing these right, and Chapman outside a house. Their deaths came the same day an ex-football player opened fire on 3 members at the University of Virginia. So there was a lot that happened that day, guys. There was a shooting that happened in Virginia that I talked about in a prior video, and then this massacre happened the same day. So I had to take a break that day. I couldn't do both of these stories, y'all. That's why I'm posting on this later. But this was their final photo. Isn't this cryptic? They took this photo the very day that they were brutally assassinated. And I mean, they were brutally assassinated. This is not the way you want to go out to be slaughtered like this. It sounds like something from a horror movie. When you hear the details of it and you see the photos, there was blood oozing from the walls. That's how bad. Why does this thing keep coming up on my thing? Guys, this is getting on my nerves. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm going to try to search it again because it keeps... This computer don't want me to be great today. It don't want me to be great. But isn't it eerie? They all take this picture together and all of a sudden they're brutally murdered that same night. And they did, that's the scary part, is they did everything right. They did everything right. They got home a reasonable time. They locked their house up. All these things only to be brutally murdered no matter what. It's just like, man, what else can you do? What else? So the 4 University of Idaho students were found unalived in off-campus housing, and their housing was right across the street from the university. That's crazy. You would think somebody who's unaliving people wouldn't want to do it right by the campus because there's security floating around that area. It's just weird, right? That's why they chose these vulnerable hours, 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. They chose that time. But the details get even crazier than this, y'all. So during the time, like around 2 something, one of the girls is actively calling the number of another friend multiple times. So it looks like they were trying to get help. The question is, how come they didn't call 911? They were calling a friend multiple times. I don't know if they were calling to get help or why they were calling this person, but maybe they were trying to get help. I don't know. But the person never answered, understandably enough, because it was 2 or 3 in the morning, so everybody's asleep. So this is the photo of them that we just went over. The last cryptic photo they took before they were brutally massacred. These are all the 4 people in the picture. Isn't that ironic how they all took a picture together? And these girls were so pretty. They look like 2 little Barbie dolls, the 2 blonde girls. They look like little perfect Barbies. I think they're twins, huh? Correct me if I'm wrong. They look like twins. But the University of Idaho students were found dead in off-campus housing were identified on Monday as Madison, Mogan, 21, Kaylee Goncalves, 21. That is the bottom left. And then the top left. So that was the 2 girls right here, the 2 blonde girls. And then Ethan Chapman Center, that's the guy right there, the freshman. And Exana Concradle, she's 20. She's the girl she is the brunette that is with the boy, Chapman. There she is again with her boyfriend, and she's in a sorority. It's so cute. Young love, these cute little freshmen just enjoying their young love. This is sad, y'all, man. Kirkado posted photos of her and Chapman on October 29th to wish him a happy birthday. Oh, young love. That's so, I wonder who did this, guys. They still haven't found out who did this. And this happened like, I think, November 14th, guys. These are the 2 pretty bombshells. They are absolutely stunning, aren't they, guys? Just gorgeous. I wonder if somebody was obsessed with these 2 girls. It sounds weird, right? Goncalves of Rathdrum, Idaho left. They look like sisters. This girl they're talking about right here left. And Mogan of, oh my God, I'm done with these names, y'all. I'm done with the names. Forgive me. She's of Idaho, right? We're good friends despite being in separate sororities. Oh, okay. So they're from separate sororities, but they look like sisters to me. They look like twins. Okay, they're not related, y'all, but to me, they look like twins. They're friends in two different sororities. So they like were always together. Um, let's go into the details of this. Police in Idaho said they responded to a call of an unconscious person at the home just before noon on Sunday. You guys want to know something weird? So while these people were being brutally massacred, the other two roommates are sitting there sleeping. They didn't even hear. And the 911 call was not called until several hours later. That's crazy. If somebody being brutally stabbed, I'm gonna hear that. But it is 2 or 3 in the morning, so we got to be fair. They probably were in a deep sleep. You never know. They might have been in their deep sleep. And if it's a big house, and if their room was on the other opposite end of the house, who knows? I don't know how big this house is, too. So, when they arrived at the scene, they found all 4 people dead in the house that was converted into an apartment. Oh, so it was a house that was converted into an apartment. That's interesting, right? He later announced that all 4 students were students at the university, which the school also disclosed in a news release. But like I told you in the very beginning of this video, there were rumors before this massacre happened. There was already an announcement that somebody was on campus with a knife that was walking around, whatever. So I am wondering how come the campus didn't do anything about that person, alert people. I don't even know if this is really a targeted act. This could have been random. What if this person goes around killing other people now? Who knows? But we shall see. And it's concerning because they haven't found the person yet. So, man, this is scary. If I was in Idaho and I was a student at this university, I would be terrified, y'all. He later announced that all students were students at the university, which the schools also disclosed in a news release. It remains unclear how the victims died. And we already know now how they died. They were stabbed to death, y'all, by a pretty brutal knife, too. Police have not taken any suspect into custody. That's the scary part, y'all. Days have gone past, and they still have not taken people into custody. Here is the crime scene. This is a house. It's a pretty big house to me. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if those roommates, if it's 2 or 3 in the morning, I wouldn't be surprised if they slept through that. Because I probably would too, guys. I get into a deep sleep, and I don't know what's going on. You could be literally playing a music loud. I wouldn't even know. So when they arrived at the scene, they found all 4 people unalived in the house that was converted into an apartment. Here's the photo, the actual crime scene photo. You can see the officer kind of looking around, figuring out what is going on. Here is another crime scene photo. He later announced that all 4 students were students at the university, which the school also disclosed in a news release. In a statement on Monday, school president Scott Green shared how he and his wife are heartbroken. It's so sad. Words cannot adequately describe the light these students brought to this world. And he was literally crying on that news video report that I seen. It was sad seeing him cry. He was choked up. He couldn't even get the words out. It was so sad seeing that from the president. Man, and to imagine, because, some of these presidents, they walk around the campus and they get to know some of the students. So that's pretty sad, No one feels the loss more than their families and friends. The university is working directly with those affected and is committed to supporting all students, families, and employees as this event undeniably touches all of us. He added that he is asking all professors to be empathetic, flexible, and work with our students. We don't know the investigation timeline, but we will continue to communicate to the campus as we learn more. I think at this point, everybody who's near that campus needs to get surveillance. They need cameras because I just feel like this guy might go back and kill more people. This is weird. Why did he target these girls? Why? I don't know what's going on with this computer today. It's getting on my nerves. Okay, so here's some more details that came out. They were saying blood. Why is this not showing? Oh, God, I'm getting so annoyed. Anyways, they were saying blood was oozing off the walls where 4 university students were brutally murdered, y'all. Blood was all over the walls. Isn't that sad? So whoever did this, it sounds like a horror movie. Whoever did this, These people brutally murdered these people like so bad that the blood was all over. It was a violent death. And then when they did the autopsy on the girls, they found that one of the girls put up a big fight. She had defensive wounds all over her hands and everywhere. So she really fought for her life, y'all. It was very graphic, horrendous scene. So this story is very sad. The sad part is there's no motive. That's the thing I hate about those stories, when you don't know a motive. You don't know why. Because that leaves us all sitting here wondering, what happened? Why did this happen? It's like you don't get closure because you're like, why? Now, the eerie part about this whole story is they have video surveillance of their last location. The sad part, they're all out and about. Several hours before this incident, they went to a food truck and they were seen with this mysterious guy. I don't know if he has anything to do with this massacre, guys, but he was at the food truck. He looked like he wasn't even ordering food. He was just standing around. It's just kind of weird. But one of the girls went and hugged him. So I don't know if he's a friend or he was pretending to be a friend and really a suspect. So the police authorities, they want to know who this guy is. Let me play this. They want to know who this guy is and they want to investigate him.
Now, the latest on the investigation from what Moscow PD shared with us earlier this afternoon.
She is joining us live right now with more on what the police chief had to say. She's also breaking down some new video that was released today showing at least 2 of the victims just hours before police say they were killed. Amanda, what have we learned today?
Well, we've learned a lot this afternoon. First off, the Moscow police chief says all 4 victims were stabbed, but the knife or weapon used has still not been found. And police say there was no sign of forced entry into the home, but they did say the door was still open when police arrived. Most importantly, though, tonight, police do not have a suspect at this time, but they are actively searching for one.
Moscow Police Chief James Fry, University of Idaho President Scott Green, and the Director of Idaho State Police, Colonel Kendrick Wills, all spoke at today's press conference. Before Wednesday's press conference, Moscow Police had only told the public the 4 students were found dead inside the home late Sunday morning. Wednesday, they revealed that all 4 victims were stabbed to death. Chief Fry says 2 other roommates were at the home during the attack, but were not injured, and he is not calling them witnesses. He said they were also home when police arrived at the house. Fry did not say why the call to police was not until noon on Sunday, when the attack happened in the early morning hours. Police said it appeared to be a targeted attack, but did not explain why. Moscow police have also been saying that they do not believe there is an ongoing threat to the community. But today, the tone changed. Police say the search for a suspect continues and people should look out for each other. Meantime, we found this video from a Moscow food truck that's from early Sunday morning. It shows 2 of the students, Kaylee and Maddie, ordering food around 1:40 a.m. This is one of the last times they were seen. Moscow police say this video is helping investigators recreate a timeline of events from that night.
And it has helped. It gives us a time and space.
So let's go back and look at that surveillance, y'all, real quick. If you can see, so people are saying they think that this dude right here with the beard is suspicious. But you can see this is the girl. What are the girls? I don't know if this is one of the girls. I thought this was one of the girls. But they go and hug this dude. But the officers are saying they want to question this guy. But what's to say he doesn't have anything to even do with this? What if this is just somebody who's been watching them? I don't know, but this is the last surveillance. It's so sad, too, because they're over here in the food truck ordering their last meal, y'all. Don't even realize it. That's the sad tragedy about this story, y'all. Oh, my gosh. So let's watch this last surveillance again real quick. You tell me what you think.
We found this video from a Moscow food truck that's from early Sunday morning. It shows 2 of the students, Kaylee and Maddie, ordering food around 1:40 a.m. This is one of the last times they were seen. Moscow police say this video is helping investigators recreate a timeline of events from that night.
And it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we knew that two of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can.
The family of Kaylee Gonsalves have seen the video and agreed to let us publish it. They identified Maddie Mogan wearing the long black jacket and Kaylee, who is with her, in the white sweatshirt.
It's normally a place where everyone feels really safe.
Joseph Woodall is the manager of the grub truck. He is seen in the video working the cash register, taking the girl's order. This afternoon, he described their interaction with me.
One of the blondes was just a little bit more cheery and kind of bouncing around a little bit more, and then one was like standing there and doing the hello, how are you, and goes through the interactions. And normally, that's pretty normal. In most of our groups, there's people that are more energetic and people that are managing the energetic people.
Joseph told me he felt incredibly sad when he learned the news about the girls he had just seen the other night.
Hope they find the person. Hope they get the person.
Now, just a couple hours ago, the Chief Fry, also admitted he should have been standing in front of the public, in front of the media, addressing our questions earlier, but he says, I'm here now, I'm here today, and he says investigators are currently working diligently to get answers. In fact, moving forward, we were told in this press conference that all future updates on this homicide investigation will come from the Idaho State Police. Reporting in Moscow tonight, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
So guys, this story is developing. It's very sad. Oh my God, in one day, guys, in one day, there's two tragedies at two different colleges in two different states, Virginia and Idaho, on the same day. These four people brutally stabbed to death. And then the other three students who are in Virginia who were shot up by one of the prior football players on the same day, guys. I don't know what's happening to our society, what is happening to our world, but
Tonight, we're learning new details about that.
These victims did not deserve this, y'all. So the two surviving roommates of the location, they think could be keys to the case, but they didn't even know what happened. These are the four people. They don't even know what happened. That's the thing. They were in their sleep. So I don't know how they're going to be able to figure this out, guys. Is it a targeted attack? That's what the news reports say. I mean, it makes logical sense that it possibly could be a targeted attack, but I don't know. I don't know, because I'm like, well, what if they didn't know about the other two students? What we would need to look at is the whole makeup of that house, how big it was, where were the location of the rooms, all that stuff. Earlier this week, the father of Exana revealed that his daughter fought off her attacker through the very end, y'all. She fought to the end, and I am proud of her. She was one of the blonde girls. Wait, no, I think she was the brunette. Coronado? She might have been the brunette, y'all. Let me see. I'm trying to see. There's all these names, and it's hard to figure out everybody's names. Okay. I don't know what's going on with this thing. But she fought to the very end. The father said, bruises torn by the knife. She's a tough kid. That's what he said. That's sad. That's sad that he has to, oh my God. Man. So guys, when they looked at the crime scene, like I said before, the person said they saw lots of blood on the wall. But the blood was leaking on the outside of the house too. That was the crazy part about it. You look at the bottom of the house and you can see blood leaking out from inside of the house. That's how brutal this crime scene was. It was a complete massacre. The question I have is, how is one person able to kill all four people? How did they, I mean, when you think they could have got away, some people run away, how did they manage this crime scene? It's like, that's why I feel like they chose this early time to do it. They chose 2 or 3 in the morning to do this because the people were asleep. The victims were asleep, so they could easily go in and kill one by one. But the weird part is one of them was awake. Well, multiple of them was awake because they were profusely calling their friends. There is a TMZ article that came out recently that said in the morning hours around this time, around the time the murder happened, they were calling friends several times. There was like several missed calls when these people woke up. Oh man, so it's crazy. And the thing is, I was wondering, okay, if this perpetrator got in the house, how come they didn't dial 911 instead of the friends? So that's the question I have left instead of calling the friends. Now, the victims' autopsies, this is the only one good news about this, guys. So they weren't tied and gagged during the attack, and the autopsies did not find any signs of SA. So that's the one good thing about this. But it's even still sad that it seemed like they just wanted these people dead. And it's like, why? Why kill these innocent people? Like, what is going on in this world? I need to know what happened. What's the motive? Hey, and another thing, guys, the weird part about it is this house was very secure, okay? You had to have a code to get into the front door. There's rumors that a lot of people knew this code already. So it had to have been somebody they knew. But this perpetrator knew they had to have a code to get in. That's why the person went through the back side of the house. So it sounds to me, guys, like this person knew these 4 people because they knew the house. Just like this article says, one of the doors used to access the home has a keypad lock that requires a code to gain entry. So with that being said, it makes me believe that this person knew the house, and that's why they went through the back door, y'all. It's somebody they know. They need to look at all these people's friends, connections, all of that. And they need to question each of them one by one and pull all their phone records. And they'll be able to track where their GPS location was at the time of the incident. I think that's how they're going to really figure this out. And if the campus has cameras, maybe they could look at the camera footage too. Because I'm wondering, it's been a couple days now, and they haven't found anyone yet. It's kind of scary. So Kaylee's sister noted the residence was known to be a party house and had been for some time. That's even more scary because if this house is a party sorority house, it could be anybody, guys. Anybody. It could be one of the fraternity members. It could be anyone who had a vendetta against these girls. And like I said, if you're in a sorority, these girls can be targeted for any of all reasons. Maybe it could be someone who had a vendetta against these girls because they hazed them in a pledging situation. Or maybe they're jealous of the girls. Or maybe they like the same boy or whatever. You know, but the scary part is this was a party house, y'all. So it could be one of 100 or 1,000 of people who've been to this house. So now it's like, how do they know who did it? That's the scary. This case is going to probably go cold. I would be surprised if they find out who it is. It's going to be a cold case. I'm so sad for these people. You know what I hope for? Okay, so since one of the girls fought really hard, I'm hoping, guys, that she scratched the guy or the perpetrator. If she used her fingernails in some way to scratch the person, I wish and pray she did, because then she would have his DNA under her nails. And they can pull that evidence and they'll be able to figure out and run that DNA through the criminal system to see if they can find a match. That's what I think would be a good way they'll be able to find because this girl clearly fought back, but I'm hoping she was able to just scratch him in some way, get some type of skin to skin somehow, some nail to skin, whatever. And that's the way they can track this down, okay? So the person that talked about this case said, I won't say they were very private with that code. So it could be one of any person who did it. The house also has a sliding door that could have been used to gain entry. People are saying this person went through the backside that doesn't have a code. This is sad because this house seemed as though it was a sorority house, party house. They were having all these sorority parties here. So the thing is, we're not going to know who did this, guys. And those girls were absolutely stunning. They might have stalkers. Who knows, man? They're going to have a long list of people they're going to have to investigate, man. Along with the lack of suspect identification, police have yet to locate the murder weapon used. To that end, investigators have requested from local businesses information, and this is good how investigators use their techniques. They will look, if it's a unique weapon, they can literally search the system for who bought the same type of weapon within the last, I don't know, months or years or whatever, and they can go through those receipts and video footage to start tracking down people that way. And that's what they're doing right now. They are requesting from local business information of any recent purchases of a fixed blade knife. So if they can find that out, guys, they might be able to track this person down. Okay? Moscow police did not provide further information on those details, so we shall see. Let's go over the timeline analysis of this sad tragedy, guys. This story is so sad. I don't even know what to do. So here's the map of the whole incident, right? So November 12th, Kaylee and Maddie are at the Corner Club, 202 North Main Street. They like to party. It's college life. They're sororities having their best life, you know. And that was at 2200 and 1:30 hours. On the same day, 11/12, November 12th, Ethan and Ixana, they attend a Sigma Chi party at 735 Nez Perce Drive. That is at 2100 hours. So these two pairs were at two different things that day. Well, November 13th, Ethan and Ixana at about 1:45, they're at the residence. November 13th, Kylie and Maddie are at they go to a grub truck at 1:40, and that's at 318 South Main Street. They go get some food. That's the last food they had, guys. That's so sad. Then November 13th, that's when Kylie and Maddie go back home. That's around 1:45. So that took them about 5 minutes to go grab some food, and then they get home by 1:45. So that's weird. They get home at 1:45 in the morning. Dang. And this massacre happened they had to have been awake because they all got home at 1:45. And people are saying they were massacred when they were asleep. I don't know if they were asleep. They had to have been awake. This is a weird story. How was this guy? Was this one person that did all these stabbings? How was he able to contain 4 people? And nobody got away? This is a weird story, y'all. Make it make sense. It made me feel like there's multiple people because they used a knife. The only way this story makes sense if they were asleep, but it's like they got home at 1:45, each of them. So I'm like, and they said the murder happened between 2 to 3 o'clock a.m. in the morning. So I'm like, they had to have been awake. This is weird, y'all. This is weird, okay? And then the residence is at 1122 King Road here in Moscow, Idaho. Make it make sense, y'all. Y'all can make it make sense. This story don't make sense. Chapman and Nato attended a party at Sigma Chi Fraternity House from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. local time Saturday. Goncalves and Mogan were at the Corner Club Sports Bar between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. They were out pretty late. Did somebody follow them home? What if somebody followed these girls? Because those girls were stunning. It could have been some sick, obsessed perpetrator that followed these pretty girls home. And they put up a fight and it was like, nah, you're not doing nothing to me. And they just decided to kill all the people plus the witnesses, which would have been the other 2 people who witnessed it. Who knows? But this is weird how they were able to control 4 people. I would think one of them could have ran and got away, got help. Guys, this story don't make sense. We need more details. Goncalves and Morgan were there at the club. The pair then was seen ordering from a food truck. Yes, so in this video we already looked at, guys. This is a closer footage of it though. Let's take a look at this closer image. Let's see if it'll work, guys. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Pray for me, y'all. Sometimes this stuff don't want to work. Let's see. It don't want me to be great.
From the University of Idaho, who were found dead Sunday at a home off campus. There are chilling new images tonight of 2 of the victims captured outside a food truck right before they were murdered. Police are still searching for the suspect and say they cannot rule out further threats to the community.
The 4 were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time. There was no sign of forced entry into the residence. Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims.
The victims' families are calling on police to release more information. Meantime, investigators are hopeful that autopsy results will lead to more answers.
Guys, for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I don't think this was an isolated attack. What if this person kills again? I mean, it could be because those girls are stunning. There might have been some sick pervert out there that just got obsessed with the girls. It could be, but I wouldn't just, take that as a grain of salt. I feel like the authorities are trying to calm people down because people are terrified right now. and they're all in an uproar. I mean, they're not even going to school, guys. People are not going to school. The teachers are scared. One teacher released a message saying, "I can't guarantee your safety, y'all. So we don't know who the person is. So you come to class at your own risk." That's what one of the teachers posted, and the students didn't show up. They're like, "Forget that. I ain't coming to class." So with this being said, and the thing is, these girls, they did everything right. They got home, they locked the house up, they did everything right. So I'm like, either somebody followed them home, somebody targeted them. The other weird thing is, like I told you earlier in this video, is there had been reports of some guy carrying a knife around campus or whatever in the area. So is that the same guy? Make it make sense, guys. This story is still unfolding. I just feel like it's going to be a cold case. I'm feeling sad about this. I don't know if they're going to, I don't know if they're going to find this dude, because the problem is this house was a party house. It could be anybody, and it appears like this person already knew the house. So it seems like someone who has gone to a party or knows these people. It's just weird. And the weird part is, how would they know these people? Because some of these people were freshmen. They just first-year students. So it's like, were the first-year students, were they just witnesses and they didn't want them to be witnesses, so they killed those people too? And they really were targeting somebody else in the house? I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think. But as they waited for 10 minutes for their food, they chatted with each other as well as other people standing by the truck. The man who manages the truck told CNN the pair did not seem to be in distress. Well, of course they didn't, because they didn't know they were going to die. Come on, guys. Concalves Morgan used a private party for a ride arriving home. So that's what her sister was saying. Her sister was saying that the two girls did the right thing. They used an Uber to drive home because they had been to a bar, so they've been drinking. So they were very responsible. Instead of driving, you know, they were very responsible girls. And you got to give them applause for that, because we see a lot of these girls, they'll be out here drinking and then driving and stuff. But these girls, they got an Uber. They arrived home at 1:45. All four victims were back at the house at 1:45 a.m. There's indications that this incident happened around 2 to 3. That's what I'm saying. The girls, they had to have been awake, y'all. That's what I'm like, how is this murder able to manage 4 people while they're awake? I need y'all to chime in on this story, because this story to me is not adding up. I don't know. I'm really just having weird feeling like, and he used a knife. How was he able to control 4 people? That's the part. I don't know. I would think one of these people would have got away. Anywho, let's get to these details. Surviving roommates could be the key to this whole thing. There's 2 roommates that were in the house. They were found uninjured. That's the weird part about it too. How come this perpetrator didn't kill these other 2 people, y'all? That's the reason why authorities think it was targeted. But there could have been 1 or 2. And the thing is, if this person knew, like my theory was, I thought maybe he had come to this house before from one of the different parties they had at the house, then that means he would have known about the other 2 roommates then. He would have known who lived there. Okay, so then that means he intentionally didn't kill the other 2 people. And I wonder though, did he intend to kill all 4 of those people? Maybe he didn't intend to kill all 4. Maybe they just happened to be wrong place, wrong time. They probably were targeting certain people in that, certain people in that 4 group. And then there happened to just be, the guy just happened to be wrong place, wrong time. I think he just unfortunately happened to be in the house, and whoever took these people out didn't want any witnesses left. You guys tell me what your theory is, because I need to know. Anyway, Aaron Snell, the communications director of Idaho State Police, told ABC that the surviving roommates could provide significant leads in the investigation, which I don't agree, guys, because they claim that they didn't hear anything. So I don't know how they're going to be a witness, but make it make sense, y'all. Potentially there are witnesses, potentially they are victims, they said in the interview. I don't think they're going to be able to offer anything because they didn't hear anything. Their story to tell, no one has been ruled included or excluded as a person of interest. I don't know what good they're going to be. They claim they were asleep, so we'll see. Guys, so far in this investigation, there has been 38 interviews, and they still haven't found a lead. That's why I feel this case is going to go cold. Unless this guy strikes again, because usually when they strike again, they start getting sloppy. The first time, they might get away with it. But then if they do it again, they start getting sloppy, and then evidence starts coming out. So, guys, make it make sense. Idaho is not safe right now. I'm just saying. If you go to University of Idaho, I would not be trying to go to that school right now. I'm just saying. I wouldn't even be living near campus at this point. If I was in Idaho, I would break my lease. I'd be like, I'm out. I'm out. There's a loose killer out there. I'm gone. So police have said they received a 911 call around Sunday reporting an unconscious person at home. The caller has not been identified. By Friday late afternoon, investigators have completed 38 interviews with people who may have information. Authorities also seized items from 3 dumpsters near the house. Okay. To review for potential evidence. Okay, they might have some stuff, guys. They might have some evidence. They just not telling us yet. No further updates on the search has been disclosed. Detectives were working on processing 500 tips received as of Friday. Okay, they might have something, guys, but we'll wait and see because it's been a while. I'm not feeling too much hope. And the FBI is involved in this case now, guys. So it's getting serious. When you got the feds involved, yep, it's serious when the feds get in there. They've done a vigil that's planned for the Thanksgiving break. This is so sad. I'm just sad that these people died. They were so precious. And they looked so happy when they were at the food truck. Had their whole life taken in the most horrific way. Who would want to go out with a knife, man? That's painful death. That is an awful way to go out, man. All right, guys, so this is the new story I wanted to bring to your attention. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this horrific story, because this story, this one was very sad for me. Oh, let me see what you guys have to say. You guys might know more details. So the Jill Out Soon said, the knife looked like a hunting knife. Someone was probably used to, oh, okay. He says someone was probably used to hunting. Those 2 surviving girls should be on the hands and knees that their lives were spared. You're right in Jill Out Soon. So he's giving us details. And Jill Out Soon says it was a hunting knife. And this person probably was some type of hunter, used to hunting. Had to have been, because how would he know that kind of knife? But Idaho is that area where people are really into agriculture, hunting, stuff like that. Wow, that's a good detail. Thanks, Jill Out Soon. And yeah, you're right. Those 2 girls need to be thanking the Lord that they're alive. So it could be one of 2 scenarios. Either it was this crazy perpetrator that randomly chose that house and didn't know about the other 2 roommates. And like I said, the reason why 4 of them were killed is because they probably didn't mean to kill everybody, but there were witnesses. They was like, I'm not going to leave any witnesses, so 4 of them got killed. But the weird thing about it is, guys, how in the heck was one person able to control 4 people and none of them get away and kill all 4? That's the question I still have. One of those girls had said that there was a man that was stalking her. Okay, where did you find this out, Jill Out Soon? Because I haven't seen anything about stalking yet. Because that can be a good lead, because those girls are beautiful. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some creepy stalker, and sorority girls always tend to be targets of stalkers. So let me know in the chat if you guys have heard about the stalker. Yeah, Robin said it. No signs of forced entry. So that's why there was no signs of forced entry. And the sister, the bigger sister, says that they locked all the doors. So that's why I'm feeling like maybe this person had come to that house before, to a house party, because these people were giving out the lock code, the entry code. There's an entry code to get in the front door. And they were giving that entry code out freely to people coming to the parties and stuff. So there's no say that maybe it was the stalker who had that entry code, because there's no sign of forced entry. This person has to either, like one of you guys, like in Jill Out Soon said, it might have been the stalker who had the passcode, which everybody pretty much had that passcode, y'all. Because there was no sign of forced entry. So this can't just be a random guy. Maybe he was there, right, to get the girl that he was obsessed with, okay? And the other 3 are located in the same room, maybe, or near the same room, and they heard something. They came out to figure out what was going on, and he killed the other 3 because they were witnesses. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Jill Out Soon is giving me a whole different theory about this now. Contrary, Marge says, I don't know how the other 2 roommates slept through 4 people being killed. That's what, okay. Contrary, Marge, I was with you on that at first. But then I was thinking, it depends on the house. If this is a bigger house and maybe their rooms are on the opposite end of the house, it could be understandable if it's 2 or 3 in the morning. They probably were in a deep sleep. That is understandable. Maybe they were. Us in our logical mind, we're like, how the heck could you sleep through that? Another thing, and the thing is too, either they're involved or they were asleep, because it's like, how come they didn't call 911 until hours later? That's another thing. So this is weird, you guys. Maybe that guy didn't know about those other 2 girls, and since they didn't witness it, he didn't take those girls out. That's weird though. Bars. Oh, look, Kimberly, you're from Idaho, Kimberly. Kimberly Williams says, bars here in the South close at 2 a.m. and the norm is food after drink, then home. Yeah, that sounds similar, Kimberly. That is true. I know in my college days, that is exactly the kind of MO. We would go to the little parties, then we would go to a food truck, get our food, and head home. That is very typical of a college life, especially our sororities. Very, very true, Kimberly. Robin says, who called 911? The police said it wasn't the roommates. What, Robin? What? Okay, Robin is giving it. I didn't know the roommates didn't call. That's even more weird. I don't know who called the police. Can somebody tell me in the chat who called 911? Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, love. She said, I was on your last live, and see, you're live again. I'll have to go back. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, love. That's my girl. She's one of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for your support, Elizabeth. You are amazing. I'm so happy to have you. I love your input. I just love seeing you in the chat. She said, I think it was the food truck dude. I don't know if you watch Annie from 10 to Life. Yeah, I do, Elizabeth. I do watch her. But if you don't, you should when you get the chance, dear. Yeah, I started watching her story on this, but I didn't get into all of it yet. I watched just like the first 10 minutes or whatever, but I'm gonna go back and watch it, Elizabeth. Thank you for that, love. I'll check out the rest of her video on this same story. Yeah, because she be doing in-depth, y'all. She be going all the way into it. Contrary Marge said, hey, Ted Bundy busted into a co-ed dorm in Florida. Right, Contrary Marge. That's why this story reminds me of Ted Bundy. Because Ted Bundy did the same thing. When he escaped prison, he went to a sorority house, broke into that sorority house, and brutally beat to death multiple girls. So it made me think of Ted Bundy. I'm like, is this a Ted Bundy story again? I don't know. I think it's a serial killer. But the thing is, he might know these people, because I think it's a serial killer, though. If people are in Idaho, they need to be scared. I'm just saying. Elizabeth says, it's like, did he know him, though? Because a couple of them were left alive. It's so scary. That's what I'm thinking, Elizabeth. Was this the stalker? Because, who said it was a stalker? I forgot who's in jail out soon thinks it's a stalker. So that could be one theory. He was stalking and watching these people, because the weird part is he knew when they got home. They got home at 1:45 a.m. and the murders happened between 2 to 3 or 3 or 4 in the morning. That's what the variations I'm seeing out there. So he knew that they were at home. But the thing is, too, why didn't he take out the other 2 roommates? That's another question we have. Interesting, y'all. Yeah, I think it's probably a serial killer, y'all. We gonna wait and see, though. I'm gonna keep following this story. Contrary March says the roommate's not hearing a commotion. Certainly there had to be screams. That's what I'm saying. If you're being stabbed, I've heard there's blood-curdling screams. How do you not hear blood-curdling screams from 4 different people? That is weird. But some people say this knife was so brutal that they could literally, the person who took him out could literally massacre these people in one stab. It was that bad. But I don't know. Let me know. They were making repeated phone calls right before it to a dude named Jack. Yeah, that's what I heard, Elizabeth. I heard that on TMZ. TMZ released it that before this massacre, they had like multiple calls to this guy, Jack. So I'm like, what is this about? I'm confused about the Jack thing too. Jack needs to come out and speak. I want to hear what relationship, if any, is Jack in this whole thing. Is he a friend? Why did they call Jack? Why'd they call Jack instead of calling 911? That's the weird part too. We'll see. What did this perpetrator come in around the time they were calling Jack? And why'd they call Jack? I don't know. This story has so many mysteries behind it. It's like, it makes you want to still tune in to figure out what exactly is going on. So Elizabeth, on Annie's story, on Annie's coverage, did she go into more details about the guy at the food truck? Or did she give any motives behind this? Because I've been looking around. I haven't seen anything else. Also, they found a Jack online. The two of them follow, and he has hunting pictures with a huge bucking knife in the picture as well. What if that's the Duke? Because one of you guys in the chat said the knife was a hunting knife, and this person, Jack, online, Elizabeth is saying, has hunting pictures with huge bucking knives in the picture. It might be Jack, allegedly. What if Jack is the dude? What if it's Jack? Elizabeth, you might be onto something. Okay, let's take what Elizabeth said. They were calling Jack multiple times. So that means they called Jack to come to the house. They probably were still up, wanted to still have fun. So they called Jack to come over there. Notice there was no forced entry, right? Jack, being sinister, allegedly, brought that knife over with the intent to take these people out. So he came to that house. What if he came? He may not have answered the calls, but what if he came to the house invited by them, but hence why there's no forced entry, and he brutally murders all four of them. And the reason why he probably intended to kill one of them and end up killing all of them because they were there. Can't have witnesses. That makes more sense if we go with putting everything together with Elizabeth saying this person had hunting knives. They were repeatedly calling Jack. So even if he didn't answer the call, right, they probably called him and was like, you know, he was thinking he's supposed to be invited over there. But he had sinister intentions in mind, allegedly. And what if it was Jack, y'all, that did this? I think the cops need to look more into Jack, because Jack sounded suspicious to me based on what Elizabeth said. Thank you, girl, for giving us that detail. Thank you, girl. I didn't know he had hunting knives. This is scary. Kimberly says, I have no theory. I don't know enough to be useful in this conversation. What other unsolved murders are in that area this year? Girl, Kimberly, I don't know. So far, that's the one I've heard about, because I heard there hasn't been any murders in the Idaho area in years. That's what people are saying. Yeah, the 911 call is suspect, too. The roommates didn't call. What if it was the perpetrator who did that call? They need to track down who called. But that guy, Jack, to me is sounding suspicious. I'm side-eyeing Jack right now. I'm going to have in my mind Jack is possibly a suspect, in my opinion. But Elizabeth said, dude in food truck video is suspicious. Looks to be the Jack dude. Oh, really, Elizabeth? Yeah, he was suspect, though. That the cops are looking to talk to him. And he has the hunting pictures. And one of the people in the chat said that knife was a hunting knife. And you have to be very experienced in hunting to be knowing about those type of knives, using those specific specialized knives. Guys, it might be Jack, allegedly. It might be Jack, y'all. Jack is a suspect to me. And this probably was a targeted hit. Maybe he was obsessed with one of those blonde girls, because those girls are gorgeous, y'all. Those girls are the type of girls you would suspect to have stalkers. They just give me the pretty girls that get stalked vibes, I'm just saying. Because they're in the limelight, they're gorgeous. There's guys that probably want to date them. They probably rejected those guys. And, of course, there's some bitter man guy out there who got rejected by one of them. And now he has a vendetta. Okay? So perhaps the people toss clothing or something into the dumpster. Yeah, contrary, Marge. So the authorities found evidence in the dumpster. So like you said, they might have, threw some of the bloody clothes or whatever, because that scene was very bloody. There was literally blood dripping from the walls on the outside of the house. That's how graphic and violent this death was. So imagine you walking up to a house and you see blood dripping from the bottom of the house, the bottom part of the house. That's doing too much. It sounds like a horror movie to me. People have codes to the home. Yeah, a lot of people have codes to the home. That was the scary part, because this was the party house. Mind you, it's like a sorority house. So that makes a lot of suspects in this case, which is why they've already conducted 38 questionings. And they still haven't got a hold of this Jack guy, which is making me even more suspect about Jack, because Jack is obviously avoiding contact. He's supposed to be their friend. He should have been one of the first people after getting all these calls. He should have been one of the first people going to the authorities. But I haven't heard. Let me know in the chat if you've heard him come forward yet to talk to authorities, because he seems to be avoiding authorities. People are saying, like you guys said in the chat, that he has hunting knives. They were calling him a lot that night, so it looks like they were inviting him over, not realizing they were inviting over a killer. Allegedly, that's what I'm thinking right now. Oh, they did. They showed the layout, and the two other slept on a different floor. See, Elizabeth? Okay, Elizabeth just clarified that, because people were thinking, thank you, Elizabeth, for that fact. Okay, because people were thinking that the roommates just, you know, sat there and didn't hear. Well, they're on a whole different floor. So if they're on a whole different floor of the house, that makes a lot of sense to me that they wouldn't have heard anything. I understand that people say, well, they're screaming loud, but if you're on a whole different floor and you are in a deep sleep, you're not going to hear anything. You just won't. You'll be just in a deep sleep. So that makes sense to me, Elizabeth. Could it be some friend drugged out on drugs? I don't know, Contrary, because there were rumors that there was reports of a person going around campus with a knife before this happened. So I think it was some sicko on campus. That's what I think. I think it was Jack, man. That's my opinion. Oh, Kimberly, you're not from Texas? Okay. I mean, you're not from Idaho? Do you know anything about Idaho? Could it be some friend? I don't know. Elizabeth says, yeah, the one that the other guy was talking to. I never heard anything about the strange guy at the food truck being cleared, though. Right, he hasn't been cleared yet, Elizabeth. It looks like the authorities said they were looking for the dude. But I'm really now hinging my hat on Jack. I think there's something weird about the Jack guy, because if you guys are saying he had hunting knives, and the authorities are saying the type of knife that was used was a hunting knife, something ain't right. Maybe they invited the killer over not realizing this, because they were awake when this happened. It sounded like some people said they were asleep, but they got home at 1:45 a.m. How do you get to sleep by 2? I don't know. Either it happened between 2 or 3 in the morning, or 3 or 4. So, I don't know. Oh, Elizabeth said, I could be wrong, dear, but the bigger guy he was talking to for 8 minutes in that food truck, but the other one, the creepy guy, I'm not sure. Yeah, the guy in the food truck that was taking the orders, to me, guys, he doesn't look like a suspect. He was very sweet. He was very cordial. He's the manager of that business. I don't think he's a suspect. I cleared him when I watched the video. I was like, he don't even look like he really even knew those girls. He was just doing his job. But the guy on the outside with the beard, he looks suspect. That guy to me. Robin said, I just did a deep dive into this case, so it's fresh on my mind. This house has 6 bedrooms. Oh, 3 baths? With 2 beds. Okay, yeah, we needed to know the makeup of the house. 1 bath on each floor, 3 floors in total. New said victims found on 2nd and 3rd floors? So this person went to 2 different floors. Now this is sounding more like a targeted hit then, because they actually took effort to go to 2 different floors. What? Are you serious, Robin? Dang, guys, this is crazy. They knew what floor to go on, y'all. This person knows them. He knows the house. He's been in that house before. That's why I think it was Jack, because they kept calling Jack. What if they invited him over? There's no sign of forced entry. Man, we're going to find out it's somebody they know. Watch. When this case get out, it's going to be somebody they know. Oh, S. Butterfly says the sliding door is the issue. It was mentioned that it was easy to open the door. Oh, man. Dang it. See, the sister said they did everything right. They locked all this stuff. But if the sliding door is easy to get in, it could be anybody. But the problem is, somebody had to know about that sliding door because, well, no, not necessarily. They probably came to the front and couldn't get in because they didn't have the passcode, and then easily go to the back. So who knows now? The dad said his daughter has defensive wounds. She fought back. Exactly, S. Butterfly. We just read about that. One of the girls fought back. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping the girl that fought back, I hope she scratched him to get DNA. That was my last comment on that. That if she scratched him in some way during that fight, they're going to be able to pull that DNA from under her nails, and that is going to really crack the case. The only issue about that is if he doesn't have a criminal record, if this suspect, and I keep saying he, guys, because I think it's a man, how is a girl able to overpower 4 people? I don't think it's a girl or a woman. I think it's a man. But if, because like you were saying, that daughter that fought back, I hope she scratched him so that they could test under her nails. That's what I hope, because that's the way they can track who did this. Coroner said the victims were likely ambushed in their sleep, but mentioned some may have defensive wounds, so it's possibly they tried to intervene. You're right, Robin, because I'm thinking, I know they said they were attacked in their sleep, Robin, but they got home at 1:45. And they said this murders happened 2 to 3 in the morning. Correct me if I'm wrong, or was it 3 to 4 in the morning? So maybe they waited an hour. It's weird. And they called Jack a lot of times, and Jack didn't answer. So maybe the fact that they called, that gave him a clue that they were home, and he was like, I'm gonna wait till they sleep, and then rolled up in there. I don't know, guys. Yeah, you know what, contrary? That's what the news is saying. The news is saying that there's a crime of passion that was involved. Now, crime of passion doesn't necessarily mean romance. So people get in that crime of passion and they think it's romance. It could just be that they hated this person and the anger and rage in them was just overtook them. But in my opinion, I feel like this person had time to think about this because they strategically waited until these people were asleep. They waited, and then notice the timing that they came over there. So they obviously were watching that house until they got in the house, so they went to sleep. Once they were asleep, if that's the truth, if they were attacked in their sleep, that's when they came in the house. So I'm like, they had time to think about it. Crime of passion is where you don't even have time to really think. You're just in a fit of rage. So I don't know. They obviously hated this person. Yeah, I'm thinking contrary because they found clothes in the garbage. They're going to have, you know what, this case, the house was so bloody and so violent and the girl fought back. There has got to be DNA evidence. They got DNA evidence. So that's the good thing about this. I guarantee with that type of close contact, using a knife with people fighting back and stuff, and allegedly there was evidence discarded in a trash can, they at least have DNA, in my opinion. That's my opinion right now, that they have DNA. Elizabeth says, oh, okay, Robin, you're right. I think it was 3 to 4. I think you're right. They did say 3 to 4. I don't know why I got 2 to 3, but I think you're right. I think I remember 3 to 4. That makes more sense, Robin, because if they were found asleep, then they would have needed an hour to get to sleep because they got home at 1:45, and it wouldn't make sense for the guy to come at 2 because they would have still been awake by then. They had to get ready for bed. They had to call Jack. There was multiple calls to Jack around 2 in the 2 o'clock time frame. So you're right. I think it was 3 to 4, guys. But Elizabeth says supposedly Jack is a neighbor and authorities were there getting tire tracks in front of his apartment. I seen that too today. Sorry, I just listened to a lot of the case too. I know I did too, Elizabeth. There was so much going on in this case, girl, that it all merged together. So I'm glad you guys are bringing stuff to my memory too about this one. So I'm still thinking Jack's a suspect. I'm not really clearing him. It's interesting that they called him. They were getting evidence over there too, as Elizabeth's saying. We need to hold Jack as in, you know, as one of our possible suspects at this point. And the guy at the food truck, the one with the beard. But you're right, Robin. I think it's 3 to 4 a.m., guys. Correct me. I didn't mean, I was wrong about the 2 to 3 a.m. The 3 to 4 a.m. sounds more logical because I would have given him an hour to get to sleep. Uh-oh, Shot said one girl called her boyfriend at 2:56 in the morning. Really, Shot? Okay. This is interesting, Shot. What if she called her boyfriend because she was scared? What if she heard somebody coming in the house? Because that could be something too. Maybe she was in her bed, right? She heard somebody in the house and she was scared. And she called and called and called and called and called her boyfriend. And of course, he didn't answer because he was asleep. That can be a theory too, because some of these girls were awake, because if they called at 2:56 and this murderer came around 3 or 4, not all of those 4 were asleep, guys. Not all of them were asleep. One Jack was the neighbor who got kicked out of his fraternity and the hunter. Yeah, Jack is a suspect, Shot. We all think, well, I think Jack is a suspect. He was a hunter And the authorities are saying the knife that was used was a hunting knife. So I think Jack is a suspect. I really think he could possibly be the guy who did it. I know they were calling him a lot, but I'm just kind of side-eyeing Jack right now and the guy at the food truck. Those are the two suspects for me right now. You guys let me know in the chat who you think maybe could have done it, because this story is crazy. As Butterfly said, one girl that was not killed contacted her family and friends. Oh my gosh. I wonder if I don't think those two girls heard anything though. I don't think they're going to be any use, but we'll see. I really think Jack to me, something ain't right about Jack, y'all. He's on the top list of perpetrators. He's the #1 suspect for me. And then #2 is the food truck guy. But then again, that food truck guy, how did he follow them home and wait around? They only gave us a partial piece of that video. Did he know them? I think Jack, though. Something about Jack is weird. He fitting way too much with the profile. They're saying hunting knife. He's a hunter. There's something ain't right about that Jack guy. Oh, they heard noises? Well, why didn't they call the police? See, now I'm side-eyeing those two roommates, because why didn't they call the police if they heard noises? I heard they didn't even call the police. I heard somebody else call the police. So now I'm side-eyeing the roommates at this point. Yep, you got to check that last video of old girl. You could see the hunting picture with the knife being shown in it. What? I heard one girl called her family and friends and they heard noises. Oh, Lord. Y'all, this story is getting bad. I'm going to keep looking into this story, y'all. I just wanted to give you guys some of the information I have for now. But this story looks like it's going to have a lot more details. The 911 call sounds weird. The roommates saying they heard noises, but they didn't call the police. That's weird. Why they didn't call the police? Now we got this Jack guy who's giving me the chills. Oh my gosh, guys, this story sound... Okay, now I'm thinking this story was a targeted hit, but I think they were probably targeting one of those two pretty blonde girls. That's what I think. I think because those girls are too cute. You said the whole video's out. The girls got an Uber. Yep, they got an Uber. He went to, like, go with them and went the other way. He did? Old girl is saying Jack is the one at the food truck. Really, Elizabeth? That's Jack? That is the same guy? Hi, Kimberly. No, this is my first introduction to this story, girl. I'm going to get into more of this. I just kind of went over the stuff so far. That unconscious person report is weird. Yeah, that unconscious person. Believe me, Kimberly, we're going to get more into this story. I just went over some of the basic stuff that we know so far. But as of now, guys, to me, Jack is suspicious. I just think he did it. I think after all this stuff comes out, they're gonna find some stuff on Jack. But I will come back and do more about this case because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more details to this. Thank you guys for giving me more details that I didn't realize. But I've been listening to this story for a while, so I forgot a lot of stuff too, and you guys were bringing it up. But you guys are amazing. I will be back to talk more about this story as more details unfold. Yep, so much more will develop. Like Contrary said, this story is going to be, there's going to be a lot of follow-up part 1s, part 2s, part 3s, part 10s on this story. But Elizabeth's saying something else. Girl, you know a lot about this story, Elizabeth. Elizabeth on point. She said, yeah, his hoodie is up in the video acting weird with the girls. Oh, telling another dude there that he was just trying to make sure that the girls made it home safe. He was a little obsessed with them girls. He was obsessed with those girls, you guys. He might have did it. Man, I'm going to go finish your last video of the video. I love you, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to have you, girl. All right. So I will come back for a part 2 on this story, guys. We will talk more. Take care, guys.